Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Hope you have been having a wonderful November so far. I am delighted to introduce you to Adobe Express. This is our intro session. I've kind of split it into two parts. You don't have to attend the second part if you think that you've got a handle of the basics after the end of this session. But just to introduce myself, I am Nicole. I am based over in Belfast, and I am an education evangelist in the team here, and I lead the education community for the UK. But I am aptly assisted with Dom and Meredith, who you may know, especially if you have ever attended a live lesson. Do let me know in the chat. I'm not sure which side it comes up for. Do let me know in the chat who you are and where you're tuning in from. And I would love to know if you've ever attended a live lesson. I will put up a little link for live lessons. And in fact, when I hop over to this screen, boom, you will see this little QR code that tells you all about, oh, let me take that one down. This is the one I wanted. This little link, it's also on the QR code, which I'll show in a little second. I'll take this away. This link takes you to all the things that Adobe Express has to offer. So we offer so much support for educators. We have ebooks, especially if you're based in Northern Ireland, England, Scotland, or Wales. You have an ebook of 45 lessons mapped to your curriculum. You can find it on that link. You also have the link for our live lessons, the link to all of our trainings, but you're already on the one now, so you hopefully know where to go to get more training. And you'll also find some technical support and deployment advice at the very bottom section as well. So really handy link to go to. I really recommend it. Now, let me take that away so that you can just have the QR code for the rest of the session. And what I would like to do is I'd like to invite you to join me on this page. Okay, so this is our training page that we're going to have for our session today. And to get it, you just need to go to adobe.ly/get started 1. And there it is on the screen for you. Okay, adobe.ly/get started 1. So if you have to drop off or you want to come back to this and check it over, or you want to spend more time on your creativity, check out some of the other resources, then that link will show you everything that I'm going to cover today. You can also pause me at any time. So again, if I'm demoing something and you want a little bit more time to get creative and push all the buttons, then fantastic, please do that. You're totally welcome to either play alongside with me to get creative, or if you just want to sit back and watch and see some of the potential for Adobe Express in your classroom, you can absolutely do that as well. Any way suits me. What we're going to do is I'm going to start off with giving you a little introduction as to why we use Adobe Express and where you can find some information on everything that Express does. So first of all, if I hop over to Adobe Express for Education, looks like this. This is slightly different than the interface for Adobe Express that any commercial user could sign up for with a free account. It has a completely different interface, and that's on purpose because this has been designed intentionally with educators and students in mind. So you have these gorgeous big tiles that kind of show you the most popular things that people like to create in Express. And then if I click over here, you can see the most popular things that people like to edit in Express. So whether that's captioning a video, removing objects from an image, or combining files and editing PDFs. That one's really popular. There's some of the real impressive things that people like to do. And then from the create side, we're going to spend most of our time over here today. You can see that you can generate an image, create posters, videos, animate characters, build web pages, and so much more. If you happen to be maybe showing some teachers and colleagues what Express can do, and you don't want to send them a link to this video, you could go to the Learn tab. This little light bulb down the left-hand side of Adobe Express shows you a little tour of Express, and it has some other videos in here as well. Now, if you're not in the educator version, the Adobe Express for Education version of this, you might have different things up at the top for Learn. And so you'll have some of these like how to create designs and videos and things like that, which is why it's really helpful if you get deployed with Adobe Express, which again, that Express links what the QR code that's below me. The very last section helps tell you if you're in Scotland, You should have an account via Glow. If you're in Northern Ireland, you already have a free account via C2K on My School, or just log in with your C2K details. And for friends in Wales, you have it via Hub. And for anyone outside of those three nations, England, Ireland, and beyond, you might have access via your single sign-on if your school or trust or local authority has already deployed it for you. And if not, their instructions on how to get deployed are at the very bottom of that QR code. And again, the link is adobe.ly/express links. Okie dokies. That's where you can go for a tour video. And if I click into it, you'll see it's about 4 minutes long, and it kind of shows you an overview of everything that Express can do. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you a couple of things in this little taster session. And then if you want to go and find out more about what Express can do, I recommend you go and watch that video, or you sign up to some of the other ACE trainings that are happening later this month or in future months. So let me hop back over to our training resource, which is the ticker going along at the bottom of the screen, and have a little look at some of the project examples that you can remix for any subject. Okay, so that's point number 3 here. If I go over to Express, I can see that there are templates. So if I click into templates, I can see lots of things that are available here for any subject area, lots that I could choose from. I could also go into activities, and in activities, I'll see some of our fantastic guided activities. I could also search for science. And if I take a little scroll down, I could see some infographics, presentations, videos, and things that I could remix for any topic. Like, just because this one is about types of rock doesn't mean I have to keep it on types of rock. I could totally change that up and be like types of trees, types of water, anything at all, because you've got in Express, you've got ways that you can access copyright-free, royalty-free stock content, so photos, videos, and audio. You've also got an amazing generative AI tool, which has been responsibly created with AI. So it's not training on any student or teacher data, which is so reassuring for, I know myself as an educator, but also for many of your school leaders who are making decisions about what AI tool to bring into your school. It kind of makes sense to go for one that is very responsibly treating the users of these tools with the privacy that they deserve. So I think that's a fantastic use case for Adobe Express in and of itself. And then, of course, the power of generative AI in Express is that it's not taking away any of the creativity that students already have and you want to develop. If anything, it's ensuring that they aren't limited by their art ability or their handwriting or their spelling or things like that. They are only limited by their imagination, and we know students and children have fantastic imaginations. So I really love that, and I've seen it witnessed in my own class when students have a fantastic artistic ability. They've been able to take their little drawing characters, upload them into Express, and then create more versions in their art style. That's some of the stuff that I cover in the Responsible Generative AI course on the ACE trainings. So do come and sign up to that if you're interested in this area. I plan to release the next bunch of sessions for January and beyond very soon. So you can keep a little eye out for that on our Express Links QR code that's on the screen. And let me hop back over here, and I want to talk to you a little bit about this badge above me. This Adobe Creative Educator badge is one that puts a real emphasis on creative. You're not just an Adobe educator at the end of today's session, you're an Adobe Creative Educator, because what we believe in so powerfully as the biggest creative company in the world is that the next generation of lifelong creators are going to get into this field and get into this way of thinking because of you. And we see time and time again in the Future of Jobs report that comes out every other year that creative thinking is always in the top 5 in-demand skills from businesses and companies and organizations worldwide. So if they're looking for creative thinking, then that's kind of the golden opportunity for educators to go, how are we preparing our students for the future of work? Well, let's give them opportunities to develop the 4 C's: creativity, critical thinking, collaboration, and communication. And you can do all 4 of those in Express, and you don't need to leave the app at all to go and get images from somewhere else or to go and find this piece of resource. You just can do it all in here, which is dreamy, means that I can just click all the buttons in here to get creating. So let's hop over and start creating with Express. So hopefully you're able to get logged in to Adobe Express with whatever type of account you have. And you'll see that we have a research report here that tells you again about some of those points that I was talking about there about preparing students for their future careers. And we believe so passionately in that. That's why our guided activities are probably one of the most clicked on buttons by students. Even if teachers aren't doing them with their class, when students see that tile for the guided activities, they go and click on them because they want to develop and follow their personal interests. Because some of the guided activities may not be linked to curricular subjects, but they're linked to things that really ignite the students' own personal interests and give them a way to enjoy creating. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to design a gratitude journal. November is the month of gratitude, so it seems like the perfect one to do for this month. So all you have to do when you get onto, again, this link that's ticking along at the bottom is to click Design a Gratitude Journal, and it will take you straight into this little video. There are this little video and step-by-step instructions for a gratitude journal. Now, what we have here is the all-in-one editor in Express. And what we've also got is we've got a little, oh, do you know what? My screen looks slightly different because I need to open this up on my Edu account. You might have noticed, like, my screen doesn't look like yours, Nicole. So I'll just hop over to my educator account. There we go. Because I noticed the bar is different up at the top. So this is what you should see, hopefully, friends. So a guided activity, you can close it away, or you can open up the guided instructions just by clicking the little light bulb up at the top and using the X, or you can just click the light bulb on and off. It has a short tutorial video, which is fantastic if you want to make it full screen so that you can show teachers or you can show your students the full length of the video at like the carpet area or as a whole class. And you can also pop it out if you want and put on some captions for accessibility. You can scroll down and you can also see step-by-step instructions. And when you hover over the pictures, it will show the picture thumbnail a little bit larger, again, for that little bit of enhanced accessibility. And then you also have an option to share the activity, which is basically going to give you a link, like the one that you've clicked on to get to this page, that you can share with your students in whatever way you share links with them already, so that they can hop straight in and get started. So let's give this one a little go. And what I love is, again, this is kind of like the universal design for learning principles in action. All I have to do is take a little look at, do I prefer looking at videos? Do I prefer following pictures and text? You can choose which multiple means of engagement I enjoy. And I'm just going to follow the text here. So click on a text box to change your name and what you're grateful for. Then it says change the font or the color on the left, resize the text by clicking and dragging the blue dots on the text box. So let's do that. So I'm going to go over and I'm going to just pinch with my finger and thumb on my trackpad to zoom in. But if you don't see that option, maybe you don't have a trackpad and you're using a mouse, then you have a little zoom in button up here. So you can click like 50% and zoom it in, and then just scroll up and move around the screen to get to where you need to go to. So I'm change this. It's not Sasha's, it's Nicole's gratitude journal. Today is the 6th. And actually, I do it this way around. 6th of November. And it's Thursday, all day. Like so. I am grateful for, and the first thing I'm grateful for is I'm grateful for my friends. Oh, spell it correctly there, Nicole. And all I'm doing is double clicking into the text box to change some of the text. And I'll change it to Martha, Dom, and Meredith. They're my community friends here in Adobe. Grateful for my coach. Well, I am actually a coach, so I'm going to say I'm grateful for my team. And that's not the sport that I play, but I'll come back Excuse me, friends. I'll come back to this in a little second and swap it out. Grateful for my brother. So I'll just swap that around. Don't have a doggo. But I will say I'm grateful for my niece. And I'll take that one away. And I'm going to say reading under a tree sounds dreamy. I'm going to say actually I'm grateful for the traders right now. The finals on tonight. Anyone watching it? The celebrity traders. And you know what? I am actually grateful for nature, so I'm going to keep that one in. So I've gone through and changed all of the text just by double clicking into the text boxes and changing them around. Now I could change the font and the colors as well. So you'll see if you click on a text box over on the left hand side, I have this edit panel and I can go through either the recommended fonts that Adobe has brought out for me, or I can use the drop down menu and scroll through all the options. If I really like that and I'm like, yeah, I want to rock with this, click them, change them around. Oh, that one's maybe too big for me. Let me go back to this one. Thought it was better. Yeah, let's stick with that one. What I could also do is just keep clicking on these, change them up. Boom. And this one up at the top as well. And when I use the drop-down menu, it kind of shows you which ones you have in use already. So I can find which ones are already in use. So I'm just kind of keeping it the same style. So drop-down, in use, and it was this Bahanchia, can't pronounce that one. So just like that, done. Okay, next instruction. Resize the text box. I think most of my text boxes are fine, to be honest. You can just use the handles at the side or the corners. So if I wanted to make this bigger so everyone can see it's my journal, I can do that. And you might notice these little pink lines popping up. Let me just zoom in a bit more there. So you see the pink lines that are snapping into place to make sure that my work is perfectly aligned. I find that very helpful. All right, let's go to the next instruction. We're going to click elements, then scroll to shape and choose draw shape. Choose a border color, size, style, then draw in the editor. All right, let's do a little bit of drawing then. So we're going to go over to elements down the left-hand side right here. Click, and then it said scroll over to shape. So I'm going to scroll across at the top. Shape or shapes, depending on your accent, and draw a shape. Now I can choose my border thickness. So let me see how thick this one is. Oh, not too bad. Going to click undo up at the top just to get rid of that one because I was just testing it out. And I can change my brush size, my border style. So you know what? I'm kind of happy with this one that I'm in. Maybe I'll try bubble. It looks kind of fun. And I'm going to make my brush a teensy bit bigger. And then now I can draw over here if I would like. So maybe I'm going to do a little star over here. My skills perfection. And maybe I'm going to do a little smiley face here. Oh, actually, do you know what? Undo. Let me pick a different color. So I'm just clicking this black tile here so that I can choose some different options. I'm going to go for this nice green. Ooh, lovely. Change my star to be green there too. Drop down. Smile. Let me undo that, see if I can smooth that out a bit. There, that one's a bit better now. Beautiful. Second step done. I'm going to click done to finish that one off and then go to the end. So it says to animate all of the elements in your design, click animation. Well, actually what I want to do first is I want to change some of these elements. So if I just zoom in again here, I said to you, that's not my sport. I don't do that sport. So I'm just going to click this one and bin it like that. Click the dog, then the little tiny bin, bin it. And same with this beautiful tree that they have colored in. I'm going to bin it, click and bin it. All right, my team then. So I'm going to look, actually, I'm going to go back to the start of all the elements and I'm going to search for Gaelic football because that's the sport I play. And I see a little ball here. Brilliant. Done. And for my niece, do you know what? I might go back to the elements and to the shapes and might draw a shape for this one then, and I'm going to choose pink, and I'm going to choose neon. Let me make this quite big, and I'll do a heart. Ah, so cute. And just be happy with that one, I think. And then the traders. So what type of symbol should I do for the traders? I mean, it's a TV show, so maybe I'll search for TV, and I'm in shape, so there's not going to be a TV in there. So I just like going back to all so I can find it in the design assets or the icons. Or the stickers. That's kind of animating it, which I really like. Do you know what? I'm going to go with an icon version. Just keep it small like that. Beautiful. And then now let's go for replacing this nature picture. So if I click on nature, you'll notice that I have a little replace button in the toolbar up here. So I'm going to click that. And actually, I'm going to make sure, I'm going to look at my layer panel here, because when I click for replace, I see that it's actually replacing the Polaroid picture frame. And it's actually this little image of nature that I want to change out. Boom. So I'm going to click that one and then click replace. Now, where do I want to replace this from? So if you had a photo on your device or in your camera roll that you really wanted to use, you could replace that with an upload. If you had something in your Google Drive or your OneDrive, you could go to those or go into more and you'll see some other options. I'm happy to use the Adobe stock contents. I'm just going to search in the photos for Adobe. And I'm going to actually search for like the ocean, because I really like being by water. And this one's actually really cool. That's the photo I want. Beautiful. I'm happy with that now. And if I wanted to do more color changing and take more time with this, or if you want to do that now, you can pause me and just click on things and have a little look at the options over here. Like what happens when you go to effects? Ooh, I see some different colors there. What happens if I was to click on this and went over to effect? Ooh, a bit more. Maybe I want that to be the teal one. Why not? All you have to do is just click buttons and see if you can change colors or change anything about it. I like just trying things out and seeing how it goes. I mean, Trader's is kind of a maroony, purpley color, so maybe I'll go over to custom and see if I can take that little circle for a walk. So just move these two circles here. That's kind of close to it if I'm not too far off on my memory. Some of you might be going, Nicole, you're colorblind. So got that one sorted. And let's have a little look. Let me hop back to my the resource from today that's ticking along at the bottom and see what else we're going to do. Well, we're going to make our thinking visible, and we're going to add in some audio. And that will be the last thing that we do for this session today before you get your ACE badge. So we're going to animate a character, or we're going to record ourselves. So let's have a little look at that. If I come over to the second page, I can see that, ooh, they've got some animations going on. Everything has been animated. Really cool. So I'm just going to go back to the pages and go over here, back to my first page. And because that's what the last instruction was, to animate all the designs in all the elements in your design, click animation in the top toolbar. So here it is up here. And then choose an animation style. So let me click animation. And which animation do I want? Let's see, a random fade, what that one does. So this one's text only. So I'll have a little click and see if it turns out. Ooh. Let me see what popping's like. It's kind of cute, isn't it? Quite playful with the waterfall. Do you know what? I'm going to choose the waterfall today. So I'm going to go with the waterfall. And you see that turned it into a video. So you've just designed a gratitude journal poster and you've instantly turned it into a video. So let me play it. Stunning. Okay, let's animate a character now. And we could also do video self-record. Now, if you are on the browser version of Express, like I am, you could go to media down the left-hand side here. And then you could go to videos and you would see two ways to put either yourself into your video or a character into your video. So there's two options for you. If you're on an iPad, you will just see record yourself. You won't see animate characters, but I'll show you now in just a little second how you can animate a character and get it into this same project. So if I wanted to go to animate characters and make sure that it's in here, all I would need to do is pick my character. You can see there are heaps. I do spend more time on characters and videos in one of the video sessions, but you can see I'm just clicking buttons to have a look at the size, make the background transparent because I already have a background in my gratitude journal. And now I just need to choose a character that kind of represents me. And you know what? I'm happy with I'm going to go for Amora. I'm happy with this one. And I have two things I could do now, start recording, or I could enhance speech. So if you're in a noisy classroom, enhance speech is your favorite tool because it takes out the background noise. So let me record something very briefly. Hello, this is the month of November and I am so grateful for everything that's on this page, including my friends, my niece, TV shows, and nature, particularly the ocean. I nearly forgot everything that I was saying there. That was a test of my working memory right there, I tell you, friends. So animate characters is now working in the background to transcribe what I said from speech to text, to match it up with some lip syncing and to move the hands and the eyebrows. And then it's going to take out any background noise if there was any, and I had enhanced speech toggled on, and then it's going to stitch that all together in a little video that I can pop in here as well. So whilst that's generating, I'm going to show you, for anyone that's on an iPad, where you could get animate character, and it's right here. Now your screen might only have like 2 tiles across each time, so you might just need to scroll down a little bit more until you see animate character, and you can just do it straight from there without going via the media tab. So hopping back over here, that's what you could do. One of the other things that I really love about Express is that this tool in particular has so many diverse characters in it. So you've got like little characters with cochlear implants, with wheelchairs, with limb differences. You've got a whole bunch there that you could really enjoy. And also teenagers really like this. If you're a teacher in a post-primary school and maybe you're teaching a modern foreign language and you have students that need to send in like a voice recording of their oral that they're going to do, and they're really embarrassed and maybe don't want to send a voice recording, they might be more motivated to send you an animate character, which would be pretty cool. And one of the other things then to share, as you can see, this is taking a little bit of time to generate, is that this tool is probably one of the most bandwidth heavy tools in Express because it's using quite a lot of compute power to generate a video that lip syncs to your voice. It's also probably one of the most unique things that Adobe Express has compared to other tools, is this capability. So it can be one of those things that just takes a little bit of patience to create. And I love that students have the return of patience with something like this, which is pretty cool. I maybe shouldn't have clicked off the screen though, because maybe it's not creating the way I wanted it to. Don't you love live demos? Let me cancel this and try it again. Because it doesn't normally take that long, but I think that might have been my bad because I wanted to show what the iPad version is. So in the meantime, what I'll do, because I really want to be respectful of your time and I don't want to take up longer than our allotted time today, is I'll talk to you about how you get your badge for today's session. All you do is go to adobe.ly/ace badge. You can see the capitals there as well to follow, and that will give you the opportunity to get your Adobe Express badge. I'll also send that in a follow-up email, so don't worry if you don't have time to do it right now and you've got to nip off, that's totally fine. And what I would also like to let you know about is, of course, the other ACE webinars that I have. So I do more that link in with videos, with templates, with posters, with responsible Gen AI. Hopefully the time I'm doing the video and animation one, this one's working because it's definitely having a little glitch today. So I'm just going to X off that because it's not behaving for me. And instead what I could do is record myself. So if you have a device with a front-facing camera, then you can go straight and record yourself and pop it into your project as well. So such a lovely way to get students creating multimodal learning at its finest. I hope you enjoyed the session today. You can see on the resource page that you've had open, there's that Classrooms is coming very soon to the UK. And in fact, if you're a region in England, you might already have it right now. And there are some more. That button at the very bottom, Express Links, will show you all of the resources, including our ebook, which I hope you love. You can reach out to me just by replying to the emails that I've been sending you. And other than that, friends, peace, love, and hugs. Take care now. Have a